Well, I am very excited today to introduce to you our wonderful guest on Arise Humanity, my YouTube channel, and her name is Amanda Smith. And Amanda and I have become friends over a period of time, and she's been sharing a lot of fascinating information with me about her. It comes basically through her divine connection, her inner knowing. She doesn't look at any other information that's on social media. So everything that comes to her is directly coming to her via her own connections, her divine connections. And she works with the Galactic. So she's got a lot of amazing information to share. The other thing that's really interesting about Amanda is that she doesn't spend much time out in society. She basically stays to herself a lot on her own property. So I think that is interesting because it can mean that we're not influenced or perhaps corrupted energetically by other energies, and that also helps to enhance, I think, our internal connection when we don't have a lot of those other things happening. I mean, it doesn't mean that we have to become solitary to be able to have that connection, but I think that it can really enhance sometimes the messages coming in. And I think that what Amanda shares really magnifies the importance of us all going inward at the moment and getting our answers from within, as opposed to, getting answers from external sources, from other people, from social media, all those sorts of things. And so I think you'll find the information she shares is quite unique, and it's also of a very high evolutionary quality. So I'm also really excited because she has, and this again is a reflection of her frequency and her energy, some incredible photos that she will be able to share, which are actually within themselves activations and encodings of a very high quality. I think when you think of some of the crop circles, that's a bit similar concept, that these photos are like that, and you can look at the photos and then you can become activated in terms of your DNA, and your own divine wisdom can be activated, which is incredibly powerful at this time. And there are so many beautiful photos that we'll be able to share with you today. So on big introduction, but big welcome, Amanda. It's so wonderful to have you here, and it's an honor to share all your knowledge and wisdom you've gained throughout many incarnations, not just this lifetime. Welcome.
It's 330, I believe they've told me. No wonder I feel old. So yeah, well, thank you very much, and really, it's a pleasure to be here. I feel quite blessed to be able to share these beautiful photographs and information with everybody.
Well, it's wonderful to have you. It's wonderful to have you here. It's there's a lot of information. So where do you think is the best place to start in terms of I think it's to do with your connection to your galactic connections and your team there that give you a lot of guidance and knowledge. So would you like to share with everyone what you're experiencing there, and maybe that can help people to know how they can make these same connections themselves?
Sure. Well, actually, I have, as you said, I've been probably the closest thing to a modern day hermit as you can get. I think probably over a decade I've spent most of my time on my property, which is a beautiful 30 acres on the north coast of New South Wales, and it's really, I have everything I need. I used to go out probably about once every month or once every 3 months, even depending on whether I needed something. But I actually haven't left the property, not because I'm afraid to go out at all, but because I find it uncomfortable in denser frequencies. And I've chosen to stay on my property since January of last year.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So your energy would be, because of that, you're in nature all the time, and you'd be quite sort of clear energetically because of that. Which, do you think that that's one of the reasons that you're gaining all this knowledge and information, because you have a more enhanced perhaps ability to get the direct information through without any sort of anything influencing that?
Quite possibly. I believe that I had been spending, well, once all this this nonsense started and was really ramped up back in early 2020, I just decided, well, I'm able to, so I sat here pretty well 24/7 and just projected love to everybody, and love and calmness, and just to which I believe that constantness of just spending the time in nature. I had a very close friend who was visiting me once a week, and we'd spend a few hours chatting, and it was lovely. I had no real need to go anywhere else, so I just stayed here and just projected love. I helped, and I was out there doing, but I was doing it on the energetic level rather than. And also, I gather I've since found out on the astral as well, and just during my sleep hours. So literally 24/7.
It's true. We're doing a lot of work on the astral, aren't we, at the minute?
I feel tired at times, but I actually, it's surprisingly enough, I don't feel as tired as I would. I probably get a couple of hours sleep, between 2 to 5, maybe 5 hours sleep for a night is extremely exciting for me. So it's usually somewhere between 2 to 4 hours I have. Wow. And the rest of the time I'm either writing spiritual things or just chatting to my team.
So I think the higher frequency you are, perhaps potentially too, the less you need that sleep or that rejuvenation. And as we go more into 5D, perhaps there'll be less and less of a need for that sleep time, isn't it? It's more of a thing that you need when you're in the heaviness of the 3D. Is that correct?
I'd say so. That the Galactics have told me they don't sleep at all.
No, exactly.
No, so which is a little bit odd, because they actually are. I suppose, just to recap, to begin, I've actually been taking, since early 2020 or late 2019. I was actually started noticing that every photograph I took had some form of anomaly in it, some form of unusualness, and I really believed that it was just the breakdown of the matrix. I knew things were happening. I'd known for many years that. Not since I was born, I believed that the place was corrupt. It's just I was tying it all in, which took a little bit of time. I believe I was a targeted person for all my life. That's not something I really want to go into right now, but
sure.
Nice to say that that was partially. I think this place started off as a refuge, and it became a place of healing, and now it's a place of power. Is the way I feel of it now, that I've gone through those sort of steps that I did hide away here in the beginning, and yes. from situations, medical situations particularly.
Well, I mean, it's true that we do see so many of the freedom fighters and warriors and truth speakers have been, targeted. So it's not something that we're unfamiliar with now. And you look at all those holistic doctors that over that period of time were just basically, bumped off. So it is something that we have seen, and I think it's becoming easier in some ways with the high frequencies now to be able to perhaps not have that same level of nefariousness happening. Do you think it's getting better for you?
It is. In actual fact, I've been getting really really violent psychic attacks for the entirety of the last 12 months, just over 12 months now. They do ramp up. That does seem to be cyclic with the moon cycles. I'll have, it'll be lesser energies, and then bang, they're here again in a big way. They're always here. Both are beautiful. But I have both the light and the dark here, and unfortunately, I'm much rather the dark. Although we all will come to an understanding eventually that there is no such thing as dark.
Well, exactly, because the dark, really, the whole purpose of it, on some level, there is that it's there to enhance our growth and our light, and it's that polarity or duality that pushes us in terms of our progression and growth. If everything was just fluffy and wonderful and lovely for everyone, you'd sort of stay much more stagnant. You wouldn't necessarily grow. So there is a purpose behind that, and we need to remember that in some ways evil is non-existent, and it is just the opposite of live. So evil, when you turn it around, is live, and live is life force, and it's propelling our soul evolution forward. So, yeah.
Exactly. Well, I think we've seen with most of the people who have had profound events in their life, spiritual events, have had a massive catalyst. They've usually had to reach the hit so that they can then push off and get the momentum to go further.
And it's often a health thing too. I find that's often one of the things, like a serious health issue or something like that.
Our bodies are meant to be completely self-healing, and they are. We heal ourselves if we stop shutting down the processes. I mean, people think, oh goodness, I've got a tumor. I'm just going to get it cut out. Well, that's your body's containment unit for all the toxins that it simply can't cope with. And it's got to the point where it needs to it's tried to cough them out. Will you suppress that with cough medicine? It's saying, well, throw them out the front door, throw them out the back door, throw them out, bring it out through the skin. We'll bring it out, cough it out through the lungs. And every way the body turns to do its job, we shut it down. Or many people, I don't go near medical. I haven't for, well, probably 3 decades, but except for when I had to have my daughter by cesarean.
Yes. Yes.
Yep, those sorts of things, and an emergency operation to save my life, which is, causes all sorts of issues. But other than that, we really don't need. If you've chopped a leg off, well, fine. We need to go and see a surgeon or something to be sorted out. But anything internal really be able. It's definitely, most of it's blockages, energy blockages, and belief systems, the whole thing. And we've only got, everyone's heard of Emoto's, Dr. Masaru Emoto's work now.
Yes, the hidden meaning of water. Yeah,
and yet they know this stuff, but they're not actually running with the connotations and the implications.
Yes, they're not applying it to their lives in practical ways. I mean, I have a plant in my bathroom, and it was growing a little bit slowly, so I had a good talk to it. And now I tell it every day. I love it. Oh my God, it's so taken off. It's just
back in the early 60s, there was a fellow who was an expert operator of the polygraph, the lie detector test, and he was just sitting around doing something, and had just about a boredom, I think. He's just decided to hook it up to his little office plant. So he did that, and was trying to get some reaction from it. So he thought about, what did he do? He spilled hot coffee, put hot coffee on it, and it really reacted. And then he could see it was, it was reacting. And he then started to think about, what other way can I harm it to get some reaction? And the thought of him harming it might react. He then went on to do further experiments that these plants could even recognize if someone was eating a yogurt, because it was a living thing. It was quite amazing, that the reaction that we don't even take any note. And I talk to my plants. Ferns in particular apparently are the only, that we know, that I know of, the only fully evolved plant.
Ferns.
All the ferns are 100% evolved. Even apparently way back, even trees have evolved in some way, but from millions of years ago, ferns, the fossils are everything is exactly. So they believe that they are fully evolved, because they're all evolved over that period of time, where everything else has.
Well, everything is like a quantum universe within itself, and everything's connected through the quantum field in consciousness. And it's like, I've got to say this is really funny. I have a Healy quantum frequency device. I put it on my dog the other day.
Oh, cool.
And he said to me, because I have to have him on the lead a bit, because there's a few rough dogs around here, and also he runs off and he can run into cars and things. And he said to me, I want more freedom. And then the other thing he said was, we had neighbours where we were living, and he was barking a little bit at night, and we'd say, now be quiet, don't bark. And he said, I want more freedom to express my voice. And then so I put him on that for balancing with the Healy, and he's barked more since then. So he's been expressing his voice more. It's really funny. Yes.
He's so cute.
He's the cutest thing. Oh, he is the cutest dog I've pretty much ever seen, but I'm biased.
But that's true though. Once we realise that we're all connected, there can't. I think if people really, like, you might be able to understand it up here, but there's levels of things that sort of have to filter down our levels of, within you, you feel it sort of within you, feel it in your bones, and you feel it in your heart and your soul. It has to go from that intellectual level, I think, that one understanding. And I think once you understand how, I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours whilst I was healing from operations, doing lectures in Nassim Haramein lectures. I was got really heavily into quantum physics, the proper stuff, the real physics. And
yes, and actually, you used to be a legal secretary before that for many years, weren't you?
Yes,
in your prior life before.
I've been the legal secretary. God, I've even been cameleer. Don't worry, I was camel driver in Broome for a year. Don't worry.
Really? Did you meet that lady Robin Davidson that wrote the book about the camel trek?
No, I didn't actually. I didn't. But the fellow who had the camels, Abdul Kazli, he was apparently had walked the first camels from Alice Springs to Broome. Just a short stroll from Alice Springs to Broome. Right. And yeah, my late husband and I used to run the camel trek along Cable Beach for a year and just take the team. We looked after them. He just disappeared, the fellow that owned them, to his property a few hundred kilometres away, and we just had the camel train, and we looked after them. And
wow, that'd be amazing.
It was beautiful, and just sort of either rode them, or depending on how many people were wanting to ride, or just led them along the beach at sunset. And about a 7-kilometre walk every afternoon. It was lovely.
Wow, that would be incredible. Well, camels have got interesting energy, haven't they? What do you think about a camel's energy? What did you pick up from them?
I really loved the camels, and I think with any animals, it's also to do with the way they're treated. Yeah. Well, most of the people who came to Cable Beach and were wanting a camel ride had been travelling around Australia or whatever, and they'd been to Alice Springs and said, "Oh, we've been to Alice Springs, and your camels aren't filthy, they don't stink, and they're not spitting at us, they're not really nasty because
you're looking after them."
But and yet they're a little bit different to a lot of animals in that mostly it's the female who has a season, whereas with the camels, that's the male that has a rutting season, and they are very dangerous during that time, even to their animals. They can be if you roll them. Yep. They've got a bit of a Pac-Man sort of head that opens up, and one of them had my husband's whole torso, just not touching him, just gently, as if to say, "Listen, I could have you if I wanted you, darling," and just. Okay, you do what you want to, darling.
Oh gosh, yeah.
They're very much creatures of habit. I think they're beautiful energy, and it's just I've loved the camels. I miss them still. It's beautiful. Oh, darling. It's just
yeah, they're fascinating creatures. So what we might do, Amanda, is perhaps, if I bring up some of these incredible photos that you have, and I want to mention too that you have a fantastic Facebook page called All Is Sound Expansion Center, and I'll put the links in the description below, and you have a lot of the information there, haven't you, for the photos and everything. So you're very kindly offering these photos for people to view to help humanity's evolution.
Exactly. Well, the Galactics have told me that gazing at these photographs will actually assist to bring your light to technical cohesion. So all the messing that's been happening with us, just gazing at these photos, as we found with the little bit of a clearing we did the other week, that just gazing at the photo, I think has amazing,
benefits. I also want to mention that we did the most amazing healing with you in the soul healing group a couple of weeks back, but I thought I'd post this interview first so people get to see you and what you do, and then after that I'm going to post the healing. And this healing was phenomenal, and everyone in the group said that they got huge benefits from it. And you can watch the video from the soul healing group with Amanda running this session, and you can do the healing yourself at home, and it really shifts the energy. It's very profound. And you can also choose to work with Amanda, of course, if you like as well, and I'll leave her information below if you want to contact her to go further and go deeper with this work. But it was an amazing healing session, and so I'll be be posting that in the next couple of days. So bringing up
channel, though, people can keep coming back to your channel and sitting down and doing this and gazing at the photographs. They will actually always, always benefit. They'll always help you. And
that's true.
Through and choose to say your own, anything that relates to you. Anybody that's doing that healing, I'd just like to mention, please add your own directives, just whatever relates to what you need, as long as you make sure that it's always done with love, and it's not, it's clear what you're saying. It's not ambiguous. Anything covers as much as you can. And yeah, it's very adaptable, very malleable.
Lovely. And that's a great point, to run everything through your own discernment system to see what aligns with your inner joy, your inner truth, what raises your frequency and puts you in that state of love. That's a really great point. So
that's the whole thing we're moving away from now, is the looking outward, as you said, and
yes,
finding someone to help us. Well, by all means help. We're happy to hold everyone's hand, but nobody can ever do it for you. It's a simple matter. You take those steps yourself and listen to everyone, but only take what resonates with you. That's getting to be an overused word, but really only take what feels right to you. If it feels right, then run with it. If you've got doubts, well, then sit with it a little bit, work out. Try this, do this, things like the sway test. And there's many ways that people who don't dowse or don't do anything spiritual can just stand, relax, as long as you've had enough water, hydrated, and you haven't had any massive spinal injuries. This usually will work quite well, is just stand comfortably and say a positive statement. You'll feel yourself go forward and backwards. If you say negative, just even the word yes, you'll go forward, get the feel of that. No, you'll go backwards. Your body won't ever lie to you. It will sometimes take a second or two to get to that, to start to go forward. But you will always get that right, that correct answer. And you can do that for, is this, this, not so much asking questions as, is this person honest? This person is honest, and then it'll be yes, they are, or no, they're not. And it'll give you, or this food is going to be okay for me to eat, and it's not going to harm me in any way. Or
that's right, because your innate body intelligence is often more clear and precise than your mental body, your mind, which gets caught up in safety and wanting to protect you and defending you and all that sort of thing, whereas your innate body intelligence has less of a vested interest in all that stuff, which is a lower vibration stuff. So it's clearer and it's more directly getting the truth, I think. So I
don't think your body will lie to you unless you're standing in a massive gale or a hurricane or whatever. You're going to find that your body's going, but hydration is important. It doesn't really, I find that it's not as effective. You don't really get as clear an answer.
And most people don't hydrate themselves enough. So I'm going to have a drink.
Strangely enough, if you actually feel even a little bit thirsty, you're beyond dehydrated already then.
I know, I've heard that. Yes. If your body's telling you you're thirsty, you're already way dehydrated. That's true. Yes, I've heard that as well.
Everyone take a lovely big drink of beautiful fresh water.
Yes, have some water, everyone. So I'm going to start with the first photo, and I'll just get you to maybe just talk us a little bit about this one here. Is that one coming up on the screen?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Whether it can come up bigger. Does they come up bigger or not? I'm not sure if you can.
Is it only small, is it?
That's okay. It's not too small. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
So that's all right. That's actually just in my yard. I said the Galactics, there's 12 of them. I may as well start they actually all put their energies into these various, I know which one, like this little part, who does this little bit. I've got into that because I want to know who does that special, this, and their lovely little one, and who does, and this one, and this is beautiful Soren, and who does this and this. And they all put their energy into these beautiful designs and patterns and sacred geometries. I suppose when I first started taking these photographs, and they just started, that's in the lounge room, as I never really thought my lounge room would be on YouTube, but
And the colour's gorgeous too, you know.
I did say, I remember sending you one. I sent you a close-up of one that I took that was so vivid with these rainbow stripes.
Yes, I've got that one here.
I've taken some mornings before 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll have taken 60 photographs in my lap, like when it's beautiful. I'm just, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. I can't help myself. And I think, so I've really only shared just the odd one here and there. And there are thousands upon thousands of these, and they're all a little different, but similar-ish. You know, there's
Is this so the one you're talking about?
That's actually I don't know whether this will work actually, but this was actually just a silver notebook that I started to notice very odd patterns and bright colours on. This is something that I need to find and allow. But there are a few different ones. And every time I pick this book up, you'll see that you can see these colours.
Oh, yes, beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, you can actually look. And I look at that. How beautiful is that?
Yes.
In fact, I only found out a couple of days ago that's my aura, because I was whinging to them. I was having a whinge about it's not fair. You get to see the colours, and I want to see the colours. That's just part. It's unbelievable.
Gorgeous. Wow, that's amazing.
Galactic's told me that my toroidal field looked like a dormant rainbow. And he thought it was lovely. And I thought, and I was saying, it's not fair. I would like to see that, please. And they've actually allowed me to see. They initially were giving me all these patterns and shapes.
Yeah.
And then just recently, because I started to have a little bit of as I said, I had a little bit of a whinge to them saying, I really want to see the colours. This is not really fair. You get to see the pretty colours. There's beautiful orbs, and they're always with me. These galactics, I've blessed to probably make it a little bit cohesive myself, seeing as everybody else is becoming cohesive with looking at the photographs. There's 12 members of these, what they call themselves the Galactic Quorum, as in a quorum of is really just a minimum amount of representatives that are able to make decisions on behalf of. I mean, you know, companies have to have a quorum at their directors' meetings before they can make any changes and decisions. You have to have X amount of the directors there. It's just the amount of, it's a Latin word, but they are actually...
I'll keep sharing them as you're talking, because there's so many to go through.
Yeah, I know. There's so many beautiful photographs. That was just, that one's amazing. I have a few that
gorgeous.
Some of them that are actually more spikes, not so much of a round wheel that shoot right down. They're actually beautiful. But as I said, I'm limited in how I simply I'd completely chock-a-block up everyone else's computers as I've done mine if I sent probably even half of the photos that I've taken.
Yes.
They're always with me. They've initially told me that they, I'll just quickly read their messages out. We have Cairo, who's from the fourth dimension. I've asked them, or they said they were, sorry, I'm getting a little confused here. I was taking these unusual photographs that I thought was the matrix breaking down for a couple of years, and they just got out of control. This is just became more and more spectacular, and thought, I need to find out what is happening here. This is not just the matrix breaking down. This is not just a glitch here and there. I had been watching clouds sort of going along a beautiful blue sky, and then they weren't dissipating. These big clouds were just like going behind a slit in the veil, and they were vanishing. And I'm thinking, very odd. I've since found that my house is on a ley line. There is some sort of an energy, not a major one, but nevertheless, there's an energy movement and enhancement, and which is possibly another reason that's helped me. These galactics have come to assist us with everything that we need to be dealing with and our stepping forward into our new existence, really. So Cairo is beautiful. He's actually reptilian. And initially I was sort of, hang on, aren't we talking about some reptilian? But many of us are aware that many of the reptilians that we sort of think, and it's them that's terrible, it's really that they are infected by an artificial virus, an artificial / organic virus, which is their race is particularly susceptible to. So they are seen to be the ones that are perpetrating much of the horrors that are here. Unfortunately, they are actually being puppeted, and they are actually being There's a lot to go into there, but suffice to say that all reptilians, as we're aware, many of us are aware, they're not to be feared in any way. Cairo's energy is absolutely beautiful. His message to humanity is we so want to help others to remember us as family. And he's been very helpful. I've had lovely chats with Cairo. Very, very wise, very loving. Yeah. Also got Oestrop. He's from a planet called Phenoi in the Orion system. That's in the 12th dimension. His message was be ready for us soon. So, I mean, we are going to see them. We've all been waiting for so long. It's a difficult thing. I'll just quickly run through the messages and then we can move on. You were talking about, I put a few of these in. I've got dozens of these done. You were talking about the rods of light that the other day in a video that I was listening to of yours. Yep. That rods of light. I've got literally, I could do a show. We could do a couple of hours just on the rods of light photographs. And I have various ones of those. Yes. We also had a duo from the Pleiades, Patersu and Grismeo, who Patersu has said, rest assured all is ready for your homecoming. So I've dubbed Patersu the party planner because I think he's organising the party for us when we get there. I keep saying to him, darling, you're really going to have to refresh. Even the streamers would have faded now. We've waited so long, please. Just sort of having little jokes with him all the time. And also, Patersu mentioned that Pleiadians they wish to save kangaroos. Roos, he said, but because we've been Australian, that's how we call them, roos. Yep. Most of us have seen the pictures, I think, of the hieroglyphs in Egypt and that show the kangaroos that are actually coming down, in the ships that were arriving back then. So that, yeah. So if anyone wants to say, no, if there's an ET in there, they see a kangaroo, and then you've seen an ET. Simple as that. By
the way, Amanda, this is really beautiful, the imagery on that one.
That's beautiful, one? Yes. The bottom part, so it's hard to say. The actual, you can only just barely see the sort of part I call the tubing sort of around, which is from Queen. All the different parts of them, it is beautiful. It is. It's, they're like I said, I just can't believe how beautiful they all are.
Yeah.
No, I don't know with it. I actually call them photogasms that I have. Oh goodness, I'm having another photogasm. They're just beautiful. So my way of saying I don't know. There's no word for how beautiful and how, just amazing they are. So I made one up. Grismeo's message was actually beautiful and actually brought me to tears and has brought a few people that I've told it to tears. Grismeo, who's also from the Pleiades and Patersu's partner, has said, I want to tell the world just how much we want to put our arms around you and take away the pain.
Oh, that's
so beautiful. And the energy, not only the messages I got their frequencies and they're amazing. You see, there's beautiful colour that that's just vibrant. There's no word for that.
So many different shades of colour too.
And that's
when we go into the fifth dimension, I mean, the colours are going to be so incredible and so much deeper and more vibrant and so much more of a range of colour than what we've ever experienced before.
From what I gather, there'll be colours we can't even imagine.
Yes.
That I've been told, but I'll put you on here with so yeah, that was beautiful, Grismeo. Lawrence, he's from Sirius, and he's from Sirius A. He's from the 10th dimension, and he wanted me to shout out the quorum's messages to rescue many more humans. Now, this is so that many people who have no clue and simply believe that what I've always considered since I was a child to be the most arrogant view. I'm sorry, that we would be the only intelligent life in the universe. That's the arrogance.
I never got around how people can think that, but anyway, because
it's amazing. It's amazing, isn't it?
That is amazing.
I do only have a small house. It gets a little crowded at times with 12 of them.
Or the energy's in there.
Exactly. And then you've got those that are sort of saying, what's going on here? We don't want this to be happening. We don't want you to be telling everybody about this. We simply can't have you connecting with these beautiful galactics, your galactic families that you come from. because we won't be able to completely bamboo. We won't be able to keep this cloak of control. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
This is really beautiful. Or it's very blue, this one, isn't it? A lot of blue.
It is beautiful blue. Well, that's funny enough.
Sorry, Amanda. Sorry, this gorgeous combination of colours up here. It's just stunning. Oh.
Beautiful, isn't it? It's the thing that there's so many parts. I keep saying, who does this bit? But I think it's as we're going to find out ourselves in it, because with the telepathy, I believe, sorry, I'm jumping over myself here. I think that with what I've experienced is that the higher frequencies that these beings, they bilocate, which means that they're projecting a part of themselves, and there's always at least one of them watching me. And here in my home, I don't see them. I do occasionally flick. I see the lights. I see the orbs. I get the beautiful lights of the fairies and whatnot they come around, and there's thousands of little fairy lights all around me, which is lovely little visits. And it's a little fairy shower. It's gorgeous. And but I do see them. It's mostly through as soon as I look through the camera, I know straight away there's so and so right there in front of my face. And it's their high frequencies when it first began, and I first established contact. And I actually asked, I hadn't asked for a long time, and I asked my higher self, my inner self, my true me, I call Shrooms, that I said, Shrooms, who's visiting me at my dam? And the answer was Galactic Quorum. And what do they want? Do they want me to, what are they coming to see me? Do they have a particular reason to come to me? Or are they just visiting everybody? How we've been just starting to visit. Well, as far as it's quite possible that everybody's going to start getting lots of visits. And they said, well, there is a purpose, and that they wanted me to do something, and they wanted me to show that ETs are here to assist us. Yeah. So I then, sort of went about saying to them, well, could you just each step forward? I didn't know how many there were. Quorum, just from my legal work, I knew was a group. So I thought, well, there's a few of them. There's a representative group. So I said, well, how about you all step forward? Tell me, who you are, what your message is, where you're from, and that sort of thing. And now we then come from after Lawrence from Sirius, we actually have Rykor, who's from Lyra in the sixth dimension. Yeah. His messages was free yourselves from persecution by loving each other. Yes. And
yes, it all boils down to love, doesn't it?
Always. Their whole message, all of their messages have been about love. Yeah. Love all things. Love all things is really the major message. Love all things. Yeah. One peoples, we want to be, which was one of the messages. I'll just get through, So Rykor was free yourselves from persecution, by loving each other. Duvos is from Arcturus in the fifth dimension, and she's beautiful. She says, everyone is so sorry for rushing you, but you must get these messages out to save as many as possible. So she's the most lovely energy. She sort of wants, it's basically everyone, we don't want everyone to panic. We don't want everyone to think that suddenly we're being invaded or something, because these ETs, there are certainly malevolent ETs, but there are also so very many that have been working tirelessly for us and for Earth for so long. Yep. And they get a bad rap, unfortunately, with the ones that have made these horrific deals with, Yes. We won't go too far into that, because I really want to concentrate on the love and light that we can't always just concentrate on love and light, which we'd all love to be able to do. We simply have to allow that there must be some form of shadow, which I think is different to the organic dark shadow. The shadow is very different to an artificial dark, which is what I believe will be gone very soon. So we've got one of their major messages that Shrooms told me when I said, look, we're all aspiring to become light beings and raise our frequencies and whatnot. We're wanting to raise up, and from what I hear, those that are light beings think it's pretty great to have a body and experience what and so it's sort of a bit of a mutual admiration society, and there's a lot of love going on already. We haven't even met properly. So I actually asked Chimes about that, and she said, well, I call her she, even though she's androgynous. Basically said that it's not just about your frequency. It's not just about raising your frequency. It's all about your respect and your resonance.
Right. Your respect for all life and your resonance, your frequency yourself.
Yes. What you align yourself with, what you choose to. So basically, if you're going to be saying, well, I want to be a really high frequency, but I'm going to hang around with people or with, that sounds terrible. It's not as if you want to walk away, but you've got to keep yourself, if you want your frequency to rise, you've got to sort of keep in that zone. And
I hear you. I mean, the number one thing really we're here to do is to evolve as a soul, And so if you're purposely aligning yourself with energies that hold you back or are lower than yourself or lower frequencies, the whole purpose of why you're here is being worked against, it's being influenced in a negative way. So I think people need to remember, that we're spiritual beings here to evolve spiritually as well. And that makes you understand the importance of aligning yourself with all energies in every form that raise you, that lift you up.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. It's what you align yourself, what you think about. The moment you think of something, that's where your energy's going. And we've become so used to the way we speak. I mean, how many people say, oh, look, I'm afraid not. Are you really afraid? Are you afraid? It's just these phrases that we say without thinking that are programmed into us. There's so many ways we can step away from all the programming and start to become more of our true selves and feel. Most people are so disconnected from their own bodies even.
And they speak unconsciously. So you're speaking words that would be programmed to us without thinking. Simple sayings like, I'll kill two birds with one stone, get two things done at once, all those sorts of things. There's a real negative nefariousness in that, or that person's a pain in the neck, or all these things, and then they create that, and then there's so many wordings that we have been given that have this sort of negative quality, and so we need to be really mindful and conscious when we speak, because the words are so powerful, and you've got to basically be not just reacting and on automatic, but you've got to be mindfully speaking the whole time, and that's a practice. It's a skill, really.
That's the thing. It's I found that having such high frequency beings around me, I believe that I've experienced to some extent what everyone is going to. I not fully, but to some extent. What everyone's going to experience when Earth raises up a lot more, which is a continual thing. Because all of my emotions, all of this baggage that most of it I thought I'd dealt with. I've done a lot of work for a long time, and I think that this is where I think a lot of the people who have done the work are going to be a little surprised that what they thought they cleared out is still going to come crashing. It did come crashing down, a deluge of everything.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can even just feel it in the last few weeks. We've been really pushed to take it up to another level, and anything that we sort of haven't dealt with in terms of self-worth, self-esteem, self-love, all those sorts of things. I remember it was about a week ago, and I just had some stuff come up with that, and it was there persistent for 2 days, and I just had to sort of keep working on it and transmuting it, but it was really strong, and more strong than it's been yet. So I think that's going to keep amping up.
It was like a deluge. I found it was literally like a tsunami of emotion, and I was I was just constantly talking about all my memories, and even the happy ones surprised me so much. And because I chat to the Galactics and I know they're there, and I still am trying to to discern all the time whether it's my thought or them putting it in. Sometimes it's quite clear it's them talking to me. Sometimes I think, well, I wouldn't have had that thought. I'm simply, that's my beautiful son. I've got that and so many beautiful, you can't explain that, can you? That's a screenshot. Because it's so far away that you wouldn't have noticed that. I thought I'd take a screenshot of that so you can zoom in, in a bit, because I've taken it a long way. Well, obviously I'm not close to the sun, but nevertheless, although we are getting closer, we're much closer than we were, darling.
Yes. Oh, the sun's totally changed, isn't it? It's completely different. That is beautiful. Just all those layers of color under there.
Yes. Some of the times the sun has like those rain. I think there's one there, the sun with rainbows, sort of like it's like it's sort of rainbows coming out of the shadow of the sun. That's quite beautiful.
Oh, okay. So we'll probably get to that one soon. We're getting through them.
No, I don't want to forget anyone. Because I don't want to be upset. I don't want anyone to be upset. Darling, we don't want you to be upset. They're all here now. They're all listening to this. So just so everybody knows, if they want to chat to them, go right ahead.
And what I would like to say as well to all these spiritual team of galactics that work with you, I just want to say a big thank you as well. Thank you for everything they're doing for humanity. Thank you. Oh, I'm feeling teary now. Thank you for everything that you do. We really appreciate everything that you're doing for humanity, and want to give you a big thank you.
Even before I'd actually really came off, just before I was understood contact, and in the first DAOs, I was actually sort of, what can we do for all these people who are, all these galactics who are helping, and all these people who are cleaning out the underground stuff and seeing stuff that we are damaged enough hearing about, let alone seeing.
Oh yeah.
And it's basically, we just love them and rely on them we're not so much rely, we need to rely on ourselves, but love them and know that, that the more they know that we want them to help and that we're relying on their assistance as well, to some extent, that gives them the incentive to keep going when they're really struggling too. They're just beings like us. So this is the whole thing I wanted to get across, that one of the messages was, that we'll just get through them, but it was basically that we're all trying to navigate this hour. We're all.
That's right. Because it's never happened before, so we're all just trying to do the best that we can.
One of them was unrealistic expectations of ETs, and I thought, well, yeah, I can imagine. As far as I can imagine, your magic, you can do everything. But as far as we're magic,
that's true.
They think we're amazingly magic, and we think they're amazingly magic. We're all, it's like I said, it's a love fest before we've even met, and it's great.
That's true. And also, that thing that we have where we put, this is a human thing, where you put beings or people or whatever on a pedestal above yourself unnecessarily, because we are all equal, and there is no one, because we're all part of the divine. So that tendency that we have as humans, we've got to stop doing that, because I don't think that when we meet them in sort of more in the real than in spirit, they're not going to want us to put them on a pedestal, because they'll make them that'll make them feel that won't make them feel good, because they want us to know that we ourselves are incredible divine beings. And so I think to be able to transmute that tendency to do that is really important before they come in and they meet us,
That's right, exactly. I said, they're all just, Raikor, the Lyran actually, who I've become very close with, he actually said at one point that when I said, this is, I'm really looking forward to meeting you, but I know that your different looks and your different energies and everything's going to be totally different. I said, I don't want in any way to offend anyone by sort of going, oh, you look, this is sort of a surprise that you look that way. I don't want to have that. I love you, and it wouldn't matter whether you walked around with a paper bag wandering around. It wouldn't matter, because it's your energy that's coming out of that paper bag that is important. It's just, I'm curious, and I've sort of asked about describing themselves, etc., or describing each other, and which is easier to do than describing yourself, I think. Yeah, and it's and I said it's going to be really different. And Riker actually said to me, it's really different it's very different for me too. And I never really understood that until it was a week or so ago. I did hear someone. I sat down in the evening. I thought I'll just watch something on YouTube, and I thought occasionally I'll sit down and just watch, but I prefer to keep the happy. I mean, I was listening to some of the stuff that was going on, and I found that, yes, I know I don't need to know all the details. I know enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is beautiful, isn't it?
Isn't it stunning? I was going to say the colors in that. Oh, magnificent. But that's a great point that you're making, that it's not, when we put ourselves in their shoes, the Galactics, it's not necessarily easy for them either. And for them to meet us and see us in the physical could be just as unusual in a sense for us to meet them. You never think of it that way. That's so interesting.
It wasn't so much, I don't think, right, because I was saying, like, looking at the some of the beings who, like one of the beautiful ladies is a mantid, and I believe,
yes,
which is, something I said, that's just, what do you look like? I was explaining what's the closest, and they're saying names that I don't really understand, like terms that, and I've actually started a new little dictionary of the things, some of the terms, and what does that mean? I don't know, we don't have that word here.
Oh, you're creating a new language with that. Yeah.
Me and herself told me once, I don't know, a year ago now, said, you Reutz my heart. You Reutz my heart. I said, what does Reutz mean? And Reutz apparently means that she said, well, that statement means that you make me love you so much.
Oh, beautiful. Well, the English language is very limited. We have very limited ability. And also, as we know, it's been much of a spelling. It's spells and magic and occult magic. So it's not a great vehicle for us to express what we need to express. And that's been purposely kept that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all the words are important. As we were saying before, like, even I'd like to just mention to people to do their best. I've been training myself for decades, and it's still very difficult to not say not. See, I'm saying it again, to keep that word not. To be saying it's not this and it's not that. Our brains don't really register the negative part.
That's true.
They don't register the not. So the energy is going to. So if you say, don't drop this, they don't really get the don't. The energy goes to drop this, you're much more likely to drop it because you're putting energy.
And the same with humor too. You can say something in humor that you think is really funny, but it's actually quite negative. And the negative interpretation is what is taken on board in some ways then.
You can actually curse yourself by saying nothing. It's quite awful because we don't understand that. I suppose the way I've liked to look at it is that our intention and our thoughts and our words and our actions, all of it, is like, I call all of it, and we'll just call it all intention, because it's an expression of your intention. So I consider that we all have a hose of intention, and at the moment, it's like it's flailing around when, like a fire hose, massively shooting out, going all over the place, because we're not directing our energy, our intention. It's all our energy shooting off all over the place.
Yes.
Grab hold of it. If we grab hold of it a little bit and go, well, I like it over there and I want it over here and I want it there and I might just have a little shower in it too, whatever. It's us directing what's already happening anyway. People are saying, oh, I didn't know I was a powerful being. Well, you are, and every thought that you have doesn't just disappear into the universe. It is a thought form. It is created an energy form, which will then bring electromagnetics. It just draws energy as we entrain with the frequencies of everything, and we're part of everything. We're just vibrating at a different level and a different. And so anything that appears to be solid is simply not solid.
No, everything's 99% space when you, in reality. So, everything that we have thought of as really, on some levels, is illusion. And fascinating.
Illusion. If you look up at the beautiful night sky and see the dark and with the beautiful sparkly sky, stars and that, and do the same with I don't know, however many million times you might, microscope down onto your hand, you'll see pretty well the same thing. It just goes all the way one way and all the way the other, and it's like this big keyboard. Well, we're living in a harmonic universe, so
Yes.
it's all about harmony. It's all about we're all notes really in the universal tune. And in fact, I did have some communication. I've had a couple of times now communication with who I believe is our creator and who identified as such. And I was quite surprised at so much of I've sort of explained, saying, well, is it right? Am I right that it goes this way? And is that the way I've thought since I was a teenager, looking up at the sky, thinking we could just be a molecule in some other big being's body or whatever. I used to think that when I was young and think we could, that is to say that that's not what we are. So we look down into the community of in our cells, and they've got so much intelligence, and the whole it's a whole community. Our bodies is a community, trillions of cells, and it's just this thing, this lump that we drag about, and it's connecting with that and being and talking to it and creating a dialogue with it, and
yes,
with everything you do, to the point of how you even put down a piece of paper on the table, instead of scrunching it, all of that, every single thing matters, and it's something we don't think of, and it will take very little. We're being pummeled with a lot of stuff, but even so, look at us, we're still standing. Most of us
we are amazing, aren't we?
We're doing really well. But something I did speak to when I did ask Creator, and that's entirely up to other people. I really don't care whether they believe or not, but this is the energy that when I actually asked about that, I said, is it true? I said, now, this is called a universe. Uni means first or one. So is there, there's a universe, and I know there's a multiverse, and there's an omniverse. So is there the same levels? Is there a uni chorus? Because this is a verse. Is this the first verse of a song? And we're harmonic. I started to go along those lines, and I said, so I call Creator Omni. I haven't nicknames for everything. Sorry, it's just the way I do. So I said, listen, Omni, what is that all about? Is it, is there actually a universe, and is there a uni chorus and a multi chorus and an omni chorus? And the answer I got was yes, and an omni song and an omni musical, which meant, yes, it does just continue on octave after octave after.
And can I say too, that there's that expression, music or sound is the royal road to the divine.
There you go. Well, it's all about sound. Sound, as you know yourself, you're a sound healer yourself. You're beautiful.
Yes, and a musician, singer. Voice. So yeah, I love the sound. In fact, I find that I can express my essence and my truth much clearer in sound music than I can in words. And I've written books too, so I'm an author, but I find the vehicle of expression that is in sound and music is much more expressive, and you're able to say more of what you're wanting to say,
Definitely. Well, actually, one of the other questions that I asked Omni was, what's the best way to step away from it all, to help myself? What is the best way to get where I need to be? And I actually said, why do I call you a he? That was one of the other. Why do I think of you as a he when I know you're an
androgynous? Yeah.
You're a beautiful melding, as we all are, of male and female, and we just need to find our balance there. Yes. And we all express various amounts of each of energies. And he said to me, I'm at the moment expressing as a male energy. So I thought, well, that's why. But I wanted to know, why do I sense this? I want to know why.
But there's always a reason for that. So there'll be some reason why that he needs to express in that way, predominantly at the minute for whatever reason. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, but that's the thing. And when I asked what was one of the best ways to go, toning was the answer. Just one word, toning. So one of the reasons that I'm wanting to do a toning session with our lovely group, because of that, is one of the best ways. And I had been doing a bit of toning when I started to heal, I was here in my property and I just decided I knew I had been keeping away from doctors, but I thought, right, I'm not even going, even if I have to have an operation, I'm not even going either again. I am seriously going to do all this myself.
Yes.
So then took it upon myself to informally learn vibrational healing and medicines, all forms of vibrational modalities, and just not study them in great certain areas interested in me more. I was using tuning forks for quite a long time, and they help to bring you into just constantly listening to them or using them on your body, depending on the frequencies. When we had the shift change in the end of December 2020, when we had the activation, things a little bit changed about what right frequencies, and so I haven't been using them as much as to. I still think they're beneficial, but certain frequencies are not as they were before. They're not as much so now.
Yes. Well, speaking of frequencies, and I will mention to you that we've got our soul healing group coming up with you next Tuesday, the Tuesday coming at 7:00 Sydney, Australia time. And
yes,
we will be
everybody please come. It's
yes,
wonderful.
please come. We invite you.
It's energy towards everything that's going on in this world, helping yourselves, helping everyone. Yes. And beautiful Medina is is amazing to facilitate this for us every fortnight. And we have another chat on the off week. We have a chat on the Monday night as a community group with the Patreon community, and I really encourage everyone to join up, because it's great to connect with people. In fact, we say like-minded. That was something that Cairo said to me, the beautiful reptilian.
Yeah.
He's actually from Draco, which initially, as I said, gave me a bit of a shock, and I thought, oh, hang on, isn't that where we're? However, that's a whole constellation, and it's not all part of the Sakar sort of empire and whatnot. But from what I gather, I haven't had a lot of interference and hijacking with the dowsing, but one of the things Cairo has mentioned was talking about everyone, and I've noticed everyone talks about like-minded. And Cairo said something. He was talking when he was mentioning that he was saying kind-minded, and I thought, that's actually a much nicer way to put it, because when you think about it, like-minded people means you're sticking with your little group, whereas we're about everything. I don't know if you can zoom in on them. Can you zoom in at all or not? Not sure, because really close to,
I think so.
Very close to the dog's left eye is actually I'm not sure that you can see it properly. No, I can't see that. It's disappeared a bit. Yeah, it does that
one. Yeah.
Okay, it's difficult to see.
There is another one.
Her eye, and they actually healed her cataracts. That she had, her eye was completely white, and it's almost completely. And they're always healing, my darling Mocha.
Oh wow! So yeah, they healed with the frequencies of light.
Yes, frequencies. Beautiful. Healing, that's the thing. They heal me constantly. I'm getting, as I said, there's a lot of people and beings who do not want these messages put out there. They do not want us to connect with our galactic families, because they know that once we do, it's game over as well. And once we start to connect with our hearts with each other, it's game over. Really is.
Absolutely. Are you saying
5 seconds even and just loved? Even if half the people in the world just projected love to everything and everyone, or even less than that, it doesn't take much.
No. Is this the image you're talking about with his left eye?
Oh yes. You can see there the left eye there. And I said to him, what did the Galactics doing and with my Mocha? And they said it's the healing codes.
And they're sending him healing for his eye.
Well, there was another one that I took this was in the first few days, and there was like click, and I thought, and I looked at one of them and I thought, oh, click, I'm showing my age there with the old click, the old cameras. But I actually looked at one of the photos on the phone and thought, I've got a bit like who's sitting on my lap? Why is somebody sitting on my lap? What's going on? Why is that shape appears to be on my lap? And they said, it's healing codes. Oh, that's good. I'm glad there's not somebody sitting on me, because it was like it was right there. And I was like, that's close. And that was, like I said, nothing of the first day or so. And I was like, I'm trying to work this out. But their frequencies made me feel like an oversized hummingbird. I have to tell you, for a long while I was talking
Buzzing.
3,000
Yeah, like
miles.
you're buzzing. Yeah. Wow.
It was very much so. But then you're saying that, like, the catalysts, I think everyone needs a catalyst. I've had 3 near-death experiences, so they're catalysts in themselves, for steps spiritually, and
absolutely. Yes.
Huge life of events that people have, and that is when they will. In the past, that's been when they activate. Now, all this additional photonic light that's streaming. See, the Earth's moved out of a lot of cloud cover, a lot of magnetic. We were shielded by a lot of this cloud cover before. Now Earth's moved into a different part of the cosmos that we've all heard, or many of us have. In actual fact, a couple of 2 magnetic shields have also come down. So we're getting this far cosmic light from higher dimensional realms that is doing the upgrading on us, and we just have never had this type of streaming photonic light. And as I was saying, that they are the quantum vortex codes, like that I was saying, were like little Tetris shapes that are sort of like a little organic but wriggly little instead of square, they were sort of very and so they would literally like raining. Looking at them through the camera, they're actually just raining down. It's like literally a light shower.
Wow. Well, you've got some of those images like that, that were like, light showers. Here.
They're in most of the videos I take.
Yes.
You can see the little, and I did get my daughter at one point to just to bring them up, got into her Photoshop or whatever, and I said, just bring some more light to it so I can see, because it's pitch black dark out there, but you can see. You literally have to take the phone into a black room, into a dark room, to be able to see it.
This is like a light shower one here. Now, Amanda, I was wondering, perhaps I'm getting a message for you you've got some beautiful sound frequency instruments and things there. Could you maybe, while people focus on this one, play one of ones you're guided in terms of the sound frequencies, and just let people enjoy that for a moment, just for about 2 minutes, so people can really focus with the sound frequency and the color.
Can I just quickly finish those last few messages?
Oh, sure. Sorry, I thought
I'm going to forget. It's okay, I'll forget otherwise.
Yeah, sure.
Just quickly, Gunther is from a planet called Freya. He's a Nordic in the 8th dimension. His message was, please try to understand that we protect you all from solar radiation, so you stay safe while Earth makes low radiation energies to assist with planetary ascension. So they're actually doing a lot else, and the solar fleet are also sort of doing that, and they actually are called in when there's a little bit too much going on and they need help. Sure. Like with all the bioengineering and so forth that's been happening. I was given a safe word, which sounds really weird. I was given a safe word.
I think I can use that. We'll see how we go.
It doesn't work for others. Apparently it's got to do with my frequency of my voice, and when I'm told basically to say the word, and that gets extra help for me very quickly. So, which is, but the messages, that was Gunther's message. And Quinn is from Mars. See, I mean, I'm going to be shocked when where these people were from, because, we've had contact with people from Arcturus and Lyra and, all these Pleiades, and they're fairly commonly known. But then we had some people like Quinn from Mars in the 4th dimension, and he asked me to try to, mind you, I've had a bit of a go at them about this, but try to quickly bring world peace to save Mars. And I said, well, of course, what would you like me to do after lunch, darling?
No pressure.
Okay, and you don't want a lot, darling, I know.
You know what I think too, Amanda, because you know how you think really fast and you speak really fast. That's part of the 5th dimensional energy, when everything's faster and it's more activated because you're in that frequency already. I think that's part of that, isn't it? And that this interaction that you have with them, everything's speeded up quite a bit because they're of that higher speeded up frequency.
As I said, hummingbird style. And once we
yes.
It's very much like, I've slowed down amazingly. My family couldn't, they used to me speaking, they could not understand a word I was saying. They're going, slow down, slow down. Brrr, I was just literally, I was tripping over, my tongue was tripping over itself trying to.
Wow.
But yeah, there's this, the last few messages are Russet is from Pluto in the 11th dimension. Russet actually identified as androgynous, which is a whole other story in itself. I've mentioned to you, it's amazing that androgyny isn't quite like non-binary that we think at all. Right. That's a conversation for another day, perhaps. So Russet's message, Russet actually prefers to be, rather than a he or she or it, I would never call anyone in it an androgynous. It just doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'd like to know, because I was having a little trying to sort of say, and then I had to stop and rephrase myself, so I didn't have to use he, she, or it. And when I was talking to Russet, prefers they. Okay, that might be an indication as to what it's all about. But so do not be afraid of us. We so wish to be your friends, so we can all be one peoples again.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, our DNA is got 22 different galactic, DNA strands in it. So we come from them anyway. So they are family, of course. Right. Yes, yes.
Yes, the last two messages are Soren. She's beautiful, from Mercury. And that gave me a bit of like, whoa. And that's in the 14th. She's from the 14th dimension. And she was probably when I started to really, when I was talking with her, because it was just such a high frequency.
Oh, such a high frequency. Yes, yes.
I've become used to it over a year now, but they still, yeah, I feel it, but they still, Soren's beautiful message was, understand that we present no threat to Earth. Yeah. And try to understand that we all try our best to navigate this situation, and we will all win our freedom when we stay together.
Yes, unite. Absolutely. Yeah.
And brave out from Uranus, which is like saying you just don't expect. These are planets that people from planets that we just haven't had the contact with before, which was why I was like, whoa, what's going on here? This is big. So Travat was, she's from Uranus and 12th dimension, and her message is, prove to the world that we are friendly and that we so need to know you are safe and happy.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So, as I said, it's not just the messages and the words, it's the frequencies and the energies that came through with that. It made me in tears, and I felt enveloped with that.
Yes, beautiful, like a cocoon.
Beautiful, and that she said, because initially I said to them, well, this weird stuff that's going on, how long have you been trying to get my attention? Because obviously I have had, and I do have very, very strong connections with nature, but I was having things like butterflies. And I was this far from, like I was doing something on a wall, and the butterflies would fly between them right in front of my face. And butterflies don't do that.
Yes, and, yes.
They were coming like right at my, and I started communicating with them a long time ago, and I used to ask them, what is this the right thing you do? Do you think, come towards me if you do? And they would started to interact with me, the same with the birds. But unfortunately, I'm a little bit of one particular, and I connected to a tree to ask, if it's something was actually a good thing to do energetically, and was it right, and was it good, and would it benefit? And I wasn't sure of the answer. So I within seconds, 2 king parrots came and sat on this branch, and I said, send me a sign. And they got these king parrots, and I thought, well, that's a sign. But it could just happen, because we do.
I have the same thing with nature too. I always get signs and things. And one time I was in Cairns, and I was just leaving the beautiful botanical garden there, and I wanted to see one of those Ulysses butterflies for last time before I left, because they're so stunning. And I said, please, can I just see one more before I go? And one came and started circling around my head. It was so nice.
They do that. They had a meditation with one just a few weeks ago, and we sat there, and she actually sat on the grass with her wings out facing me, and we just sat there and communicated for a long time. It was beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I actually was, and I was sort of with these particular king parrots. I thought, well, that could have just happened. So I said, if you are a sign saying this is a positive thing, could you come a little closer? Well, one of them jumped onto the tree that was closer to me, onto a branch. And me being me, said, Well, if that's definitely that could have been
Another sign.
I'm always doing that little verification, which is something I've learned not to do now.
Yeah.
But that was a long time ago. And so, well, perhaps you could come to a lower branch if it's definitely outside. So sure enough, this thing, it was almost like it went boom, boom, boom. Like, oh, you really are. You're hard to please. What else would we say to you? You know. And I'd asked this butterfly to come towards me at one point to say whether something was right or not, and it came within about so far and just fluttered around. I thought, well, that's it. And then I thought, well, you do that occasionally to say hello to me anyway, darling. So let's just, I wonder if there's any, and it was like it got a little annoyed with me because at my need for verification. And I think since then I've learned to accept what they're saying.
Yes.
Because it just shot at me, and I actually, to the point where, oh, whoa, and it almost hit my nose. And then went, is that enough? And I'm, whoa, okay, that's enough.
Exactly.
I've been a little more, a little more
receptive. Yes. Well, Amanda, I'm just conscious of time because we've gone for, I think, nearly an hour and a half now. So perhaps if we just finish with, I'll put that beautiful rainbow shower on the screen. And then if you could just do some beautiful, I mean, even if you choose light language or just a beautiful instrument, whatever you're guided, just while people focus for a couple of minutes on the image.
I will. Just one thing I'd like to tell everybody, and that is that everyone's been waiting for so long saying, we've been promised this and this and this, and it's not actually, it's just beginning to sort of be noticed things are happening. But I just wanted people to realise that there's energetic reasons why this has taken so long, even though we have one. Apart from the whole, we've been told for a long filtering down business. Well, that is certainly a case, but Earth is actually bound with energetic, it's energetic ropes, really, that I was told about, called the Sutrasur. And the way they put it was, as I said, I was hijacked by the dark with my dowsing initially. I got sick of it, and I asked the Galactics, I said, am I going to get harmed by talking to this dude who keeps, this annoying dude who keeps interrupting and hijacking my dowsing and telling me the wrong things? I could sense his energy. And they said no. So I then started to interrogate him, and I, literally found from him as well, that it's why. I was demanding to know why is it taking so long. I was really interrogating him and forcing him to give me correct answers by invoking universal law to make sure he had to give me the right answer. And he was told that it takes time to quit this. He called it, rather than to unravel it all.
Yes.
This energetic ropes around Earth that are binding Earth together. It's actually not just too dangerous for us to go bang and just drop the veil. It's too dangerous for Earth. It's too dangerous. It's
for the whole cosmos.
Everything. But it's the sorcery it's sorcery in the same with a certain resonance that is being very, very closely watched, which is not quite exactly what everyone thinks. In actual fact, is what I've been told, holding Earth together pretty well, because it would just crack apart from all this sorcery if basically it's keeping things contained, and it's not a great frequency. However, what we think of as that, there is that, and that is actually rising. So it's all great. I am a little concerned that the collective vibe will be dropped big time if and when that may be known, that what people have been watching to be monitoring this particular resonance, if they find out that this is actually being projected by angelic instrument players, we'll call, and not angelic at all, but pretend angelic instrument players. Does that make sense to you? The instrument that we think of angels playing?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's the word that we weren't sure about saying.
Oh, oops.
But that's okay.
I'll put it in word.
You know what I mean? And they don't play angelic instruments, so perhaps we could get rid of that thing. But just to put the word in, the word is angelic instrument. I'm
just following really closely your words in your conversation, and then I forgot about the censorship.
That's okay. I'm like thinking of your channel, darling, and I'm thinking, I've got all sorts of lovely ways to saying. I know you keep going like this. I'll tell you what, arm spear is a good thing for that one.
Yeah.
Good term that I've heard for that one. Or the 3-dart finish. That's another one I've heard, which I thought was a bit.
Right. Well, Well, is that all the messages that you had for us? Because I thought maybe we could just finish
yes,
now.
I had. The only other thing was that yes, we definitely have. Except that yes, when I spoke with Omni, that something else that I think everyone should know is that when I was talking about what they call the tissonance of Earth, which is actually another word I didn't know, which is like the certificate of title of deeds to Earth, which we have actually won. In the light has won, you know, that whole thing, which I asked Omni, I said, so what happens now when this is all sort of handed over? I said, does the Earth get handed back to you, or like what happens? And the answer was us. So that just goes to show that our Creator, if you know, is actually, it's not goes to our Creator. It's not going to be the authority.
It goes to all of us.
All of us, which shows that we are a part of everything. We are a part of this thing.
We're part of God.
And there is no separation. And for as far as I'm aware, Omni sees no, you know, that's just showing how it's viewed, although I didn't perhaps put it as succinctly as I could have. I was, you know, that us told me so very much that no, not me, us. It's all of us. We are not separate. We're all together. We're all one.
Beautiful. Well, that's a beautiful note to end on. So I just want to, you know, say thank you so much for everything that you've shared and all these stunningly beautiful resonances in the photos and the beauty visually and all your wonderful knowledge. If people want to contact you, I'll put your details below, and please go to the Facebook page of Amanda's. We've got the soul healing group next week. If anyone wants to join in with the toning, the sound healing, or the community chat, and that's part of my Patreon community, I'll put the link below. And now we're just going to finish with some beautiful sound, whatever you choose, Amanda, and this lovely image. Oh, I love that. They're fantastic, those. I love those. So we're just going to do that for a minute.
Sure. So time to shine our hearts rather than polish our egos, everyone. Okay. Oops. Right.
Thank you, Amanda. Beautiful. Love to everyone out there, and thank you so much for watching, and you have a beautiful day. Thank you. Beautiful. Thanks.